Well, hi, and welcome back to another episode of Heart and Health Wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Melissa Welch, and this is our final episode of the Return series. The Return is a mini series where real working moms share the unfiltered truth about going back to work after having their baby. And today's guest is Shauntia. She's a sixth-year special education teacher who now teaches virtually, which means that she logs into classrooms all over the country from her home. And that's something that she will tell you she needed desperately when she became a mom. She went to a fine arts school, she majored in drama, and she has a little sister who is 20 years younger than her, which is fun. So, yes, she's full of surprises, and they just kept coming. Fun facts were spilling the whole time. But what surprised me the most in our conversation was that she's a single mom. I didn't know that. She did not share that right away with me, and it just came out very naturally as we talked. And when it did, everything that she had already shared really took on a completely different weight. She went back to work 8 weeks after having her daughter, Drew, and she took a pay cut to have the flexibility of working virtually. So she's navigating co-parenting daycare options and doing most of this all on her own. She wrote a book about it too while she was pregnant, which she tells us about at the very end of this episode. So this conversation is honest and warm, and I think it's really going to mean a lot to all of you, but especially to single moms. So let's get into it. Well, hi, Shauntia. Thank you so much for coming on. Welcome, and I'm excited to get to visit today.
Thank you. Same. I'm excited as well.
So can we just start by you introducing yourself, kind of like where you're at, what you do, all of that kind of
Yes.
stuff?
Yes. So I am a special education teacher. I teach grades, well, K through 12,
Okay.
all over the country now because I teach virtually now, which is pretty cool. And it is my sixth year teaching.
That is really cool. So how do you do that virtually? Is it kind of like a homeschool program where students can do this virtually, or is it through a local group or what?
No, it's through a platform. It's through a virtual learning platform, and they have contracts with different school districts. And so they hire certified teachers across the country. And we have, it's kind of like DoorDash for teachers, my friend like to call it a little bit.
Okay.
So like they'll post opportunities, either permanent opportunities or sub opportunities if you want to just sub here and there, whatever. And so once you are allocated a class, you teach a class. So each class is different. Each class has its own schedule. So one class from 9 to 10 in the morning. They have a little break. Other class at 12, so forth.
That is so nice. I mean,
Yeah.
talk about flexibility. Obviously, you have to be in the classroom when you're there, but just to be able to make your own schedule and things as you want to.
Yes, it's very
That's really cool.
flexible, especially as a new mom. That's what I really needed. So
Yeah. No, I'd
yeah.
never heard of something like that before. And I can think of lots of teacher friends who probably don't know about that might be interested in it.
Well, I will email you the company's information
Okay.
after this.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd love to include that in the show notes for anybody who wants to check it out because I know some people who would probably be really interested in that.
Yeah, it's great.
So give us two fun facts about you that people might be surprised to hear or not know.
Ooh, fun facts. Let's see. I went to a fine art school,
Okay.
middle and high school, and I majored in drama.
Very
So
cool.
I was a theater kid, growing up. And number two, there is a 20-year age gap between me and my little sister.
Wow, that is fun.
Yes.
So you were like, I mean, you could have been her mom at that point.
Yes, she was born. I have other siblings, but the youngest, she was born when I was a sophomore in college.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about a big life change. Are all the others spread out between there, or was she like way later?
No, she was way later. Because she's way later. So I am 33. I have a 30-year-old sister. I have a 22-year-old sister. And then she'll be 14 this year, the baby.
My goodness. I
Yeah.
can't even imagine having I'm about the same age as you, a little older. Can't imagine having a 14-year-old sister. That's fun.
Yeah. So
That is a fun fact. And the drama stuff is cool too. Do you do anything with that now?
I don't. I kinda just well, I think my friends would say yes because I tend to be a little dramatic in real life. As far as, like, being on the actual stage, no, I don't do that anymore, but, it's fun sometimes, like, go on YouTube or whatever and just kind of
Uh-huh.
watch old things or relive old memories, but I don't, like, officially do it anymore.
Yeah. I have
Yeah.
a friend who did a, like, community-based play
Mhm.
a couple years ago, and I went and watched it to support her, and it was so fun. I didn't even know local things like that existed, and so I could see, someone like you really enjoying that.
Yes, I still I love movies. Um, I still go to things, locally, like, improv. We have improv shows all the time and different plays and like that. So I do, still engage that way. I'm on the opposite side of the stage now.
Yeah, that's fair. You've got other priorities now.
Yes.
So speaking of other priorities, tell us about your baby. How old are they? What are they
Okay.
doing? All that kind of stuff.
Her name is Drew. She is 9 months now. And she is doing all the things. She is learning how to walk, which is kind of scary. Like you're doing, like she's still my little baby, but
Mhm.
she's growing up all day, every day. So she's learning how to walk. She's crawling a mile a minute. She's actually trying to cut her first two teeth finally.
Mm.
So we're kind of in the teething trenches right now. So that's been fun.
Yeah, I
Um,
bet.
she's eating everything in sight. But yeah, she's doing really well.
That's awesome. They're so cute when they're learning to walk but they've got the crawl down, so they're super fast with that. And so
Super
they're like, this
fast.
walking thing is kind of interesting, but I know I can get over there real fast if I crawl. So I'm just gonna keep doing
Yes.
that.
Yeah, she's gotten, the standing up by herself down pat. It's just the actually
Okay.
taking the steps. We're working on that part, but she's getting there.
So cute. And I love her name, Drew. It's
Thank
adorable.
you.
All right. So give us a little bit of a background. You talked about working from home virtually, and you've been doing that for 6 years now. At what point, I guess a specific question is, how far postpartum were you when you went back to work?
So I was about 2 months
Okay.
postpartum. So it's a little another fun fact. I actually taught, like, in the classroom in my local district for 5 of those 6 years, and so then when I found out I was pregnant, I stopped working up until I had her, and then that's when I found the, virtual opportunity to work from home.
Okay.
So that's how that happened. So I went back officially in October with the work from home platform.
Okay. So you had been working in the classroom, found out you were pregnant, then the decision to stop that position, was that related to wanting to stay home or health reasons, or how'd you
I
make that
just
decision?
I was ready to find another way to utilize my skills outside of the classroom,
Okay.
if that makes sense, but still in the classroom, which is where the virtual part came in.
Yeah.
I still, I love kids, I love teaching, all those things, but, the working within the physical classroom just wasn't working out for me anymore. I just felt like, um, I had more to offer than what was
Mhm.
offered to me within that space.
Sure.
And so when I became pregnant, that really gave me the opportunity to kind of sit and think about my next steps truly. And I actually found the opportunity, right before I had Drew. So I had her in August. So I think I found it in like June or July, like literally right before I had her. I found the opportunity. And thankfully, we'll platform again. You can pick and choose the classes that you want to take on. So I'm sure they had opportunities way earlier when I was back, but I was able to find mine that allowed me to be at home, enjoy postpartum for a little bit before launching back into the workforce.
Yeah, no, and that's perfect. Just thinking about the school timeline, you had some time off
Mhm,
before you had Drew, which
mhm,
a lot of the moms that I talk to say, they worked up until literally the day of or the day before they had their baby, and they
mhm.
wish they had slowed down. And so that's a nice thing about a teacher's schedule is that you might have some flexibility there to slow down. and then
Right.
you also found this other opportunity. So there's a lot of transition happening there.
Yes, it was a lot. And the another fun fact, I found um I I turned my 2-week notice prior to me finding out I was pregnant. So I
Okay.
found out I was pregnant the day before on my last day on the job, which is crazy.
Okay. That is crazy.
It worked out, but that part wasn't intentional. But yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Well, it worked out really well for you for sure.
it did.
The other
Yes.
thing that I'm realizing is that of the women that I'm interviewing for this little mini series, there's several of you who either stayed with the same company and switched positions or just completely did something different.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's a theme with just this little group or a larger group of women, but it really seems like becoming pregnant with your first or second gives you an opportunity to reflect and think about, okay, what do I really want my life to look like? And is this an opportunity for me to make a change that I've been wanting to make? And now this is the push to do it, or now I feel like I need to do it. It's
Right.
kind of interesting. All right. So talk about fast forwarding, had Drew, I assume Drew's your first.
Yes.
Okay. So you had Drew, y'all have been home, you're enjoying maternity leave for a couple of months, and then you go back and you're starting a new position. What is that first week like? How was the adjustment for you?
Oh, it was kind of bittersweet because like you mentioned, it was just, me and her in our own little bubble for that long. For about 8 weeks, 8 to 9 weeks. And so even though I was working from home, it's still I would have to, leave her with my friend while I jump on class and things like that. She was still in the home, but she wasn't like in our eyesight for that little bit of time. So it was kind of bittersweet. I'm like, okay, like I'm doing something for her and myself, make sure that, we have things that we need. I have to work, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I don't want to miss anything, you know, in the other room, or like if I heard her cry, I
Mm-hmm.
went to her, but I couldn't because I'm in the class. So
Mm-hmm.
it's gotten progressively easier, which is now that she's older a little bit, but that first week was kind of, yeah, it's kind of rough a little bit.
Before we go any further, I want to tell you about one of my favorite finds as a working mom, and honestly, as someone who loves giving a really good gift to another mom. We're Amma makes jewelry and gifts designed specifically for moms, and I'm not just saying this because I actually have and love their cocoon and the halo necklace, and I reach for both of them all the time. They're beautiful, they're meaningful, and they feel like something that you actually choose for yourself rather than something that just ended up in your cart at 11 p.m. because we all know what that's like. They have so much more than what I personally have. Their new mama bundle is a wonderful gift if you know someone who just had a baby, great for a baby shower gift. And they just dropped a beautiful new color called Rose in the cocoon, which I'm very into. They have a new half moon necklace too that's on my wish list. And there's truly something for every mom over there. So you can shop everything at wearealma.com/Melissa, or you can use the code Melissa for 15% off of your order. And that's on top of any sales that they're having already. Full transparency, I do earn a small commission when you shop through my link, which helps keep the show going. So thank you in advance if you do. And let's get back to the conversation. Yeah, I'm sure. So you said a bunch in there that I want to touch on.
Okay.
The first thing that you said, or one of the things that you said that jumped out to me was that when you hear her crying in the other room, but you're working and so you can't go get her, that
Mhm.
is one of the biggest pain points that moms who are trying to work from home experience because they're like, well, this will be great. There's flexibility. But I can tell you, as a mom who works outside of the home and having my child at daycare, not hearing him, like, of course, I'm thinking about him, but I couldn't
Right.
physically hear him. And I know when I was home and like my husband's taking care of him or something, and I immediately run to get him.
Mhm.
And so I imagine that would be really painful as a mom, especially when you're only 8 or 9 weeks postpartum to
Right.
have to manage that. Do you have any tips
Yeah.
for moms?
Um, Let me see. I think what got me through it was just knowing like, okay, it's only temporary. Like, my class is only, like, an hour long. Well, my classes are only hour long, increments. So I'm like, "Okay,
Okay.
it's a short period of time. I do know she's safe. I know where she is, and I trust the person who's, caring for her in the moment. I trust that she will take care of her, as if she was me.
Yeah.
Make sure that she's fed, her diaper's changed. She's just safe overall." So that really gave me a peace of mind. And like I said, as she got older, it kind of, it became more of a routine versus just like, well, it became more of a routine. So it kind of like I was expecting it or looking forward to it because I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. No, that
Mhm.
makes more sense. Like you kind of get used to it. Not that it ever stops hurting, like when you
Right.
hear it, but you are accustomed to how to work through that.
Yes,
And the thing
exactly.
that you were doing, it sounds like, acknowledging this is painful. I want to do something about it. And even though it's hard, I know she's okay and
Yes.
I'll get to see her soon. So that kind of like self talk that you were doing in the moment was really good.
Hmm.
So, one of the other things you said was that you had a friend come over to your house to take care of her while you had the classes going on. So, that was someone that you had a good relationship with. You trusted and you knew she was going to take care of her just like you would. Very different than, daycare or something like that.
Yes, and actually, well, the other part of that is I should live with my friends. Like we're best friends slash roommates slash
Okay.
also Drew's godmom.
Oh, okay.
So it all kind of worked out perfectly. So she's literally just in the next room, and that really helped out a lot too because she's here 24/7, so she kind of knows that part was easy too. I didn't have to like teach someone or like, hey, you have to do this, do that. Like she already knew. Help with the transition as well.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And I'm sure she enjoyed that too. And good for them to have that bonding time too.
Yes, absolutely.
Nice. And then the other thing that you said, sorry, we're really dissecting this, but you had
No,
some
you're
good
fine.
things in that first
You're fine.
bit. You said something like, I'm doing this for her, meaning like I'm working for her because I need to provide for us. And
Right.
also, a lot of moms that I talk to, there's an essence of, I don't really have a choice. This is something that I have to do.
Mhm.
So, it's both and I'm doing it because I want to provide, but also I don't have a choice otherwise. So, can you speak to
Right.
that a little bit?
Yes. So, I'm actually a single mom. I co-parent with her father. Um, so I do truly live that if I don't provide for her, like kind of who will type of thing. So I do have to keep that in the forefront of my mind because I'm like, you know, as moms, if we can just spend all day, with our child,
Mm,
all of us would, well, most of us would, would love the opportunity. But unfortunately, that's not the case for a lot of, especially single moms. So it definitely helped push me a little further. Like, okay, yes, I would love to just sit in her face all day, every day. But the reality is, I have to make sure that she's okay.
mhm.
Put her needs and put her what I want.
Yeah.
That definitely helped me to keep pushing forward.
Yeah. I want to take a quick second to speak to a very specific mom. If you are listening to these conversations and these stories, and a part of you is thinking, I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this, I want you to know that I see you, I understand, I get it. And that feeling is not a weakness. It is a signal that something needs to change. And it doesn't have to mean walking away from your career in order to change it. So that is exactly what a clarity call with me is for. It's a free conversation where we figure out together what's actually going on, what's getting in the way, and what a real path forward looks like for you specifically. It's not generic advice, it's not a sales pitch, just an honest conversation with someone who works with moms in this exact place every day. We'll get on a call, we'll talk about your situation. If I think I can help, I'll let you know. If I think there's another option that's better, I'll let you know that too. So if that is you, the link to book is in the show notes. It takes 30 seconds and it might be the most important 30 seconds that you spend this week. Now let's get back to the conversation. Well, and I'm glad you brought up the part about being a single mom because one of the things that I keep feeling that I need to do from all of this work in these conversations is figuring out how to advocate for change in workplace structures.
Mhm.
It's definitely a system that's set up that with the expectation that parents, mothers especially, have somebody else who's doing things, and that's
Mhm.
not always the case. And
Right.
so these systems really aren't set up in a way to support someone who's single parenting or doing it on their own for whatever reason that might be.
Right. Yeah.
So it's definitely a challenge, and you don't have the option to not work. You have to.
I
So
have
how
to.
do we work and make this doable for the family?
Right. Which is why the work from home opportunity worked out for me. But I also see the other side of that too, because now that she is getting older and she's more mobile and all those things, that makes working from home a little challenging as well because she's being a baby. You can't tell baby to be quiet or they don't understand yet. The mommy is working, so I need you to just play pen and play with your toy for a second. They don't get that concept. So even the workers can benefit from a shift as well. I do know I'm in a Facebook group with other moms, and I have seen other moms say like they've got fired from their work from home job because the child's making noise in the background or
It's
they
crazy.
got in trouble because in the middle of a meeting they run and I don't give their child food or something. So it's like it's beneficial in some ways, but in other ways like they still are rigid in the flexibility of motherhood.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That gave me chill bumps, which is weird, but I'm just like, that is crazy. That which I've already heard some other horror stories, but just like the inflexibility and the lack of understanding
Yeah.
and support, it's really sad. But yeah, when they're newborns and they're sleeping all the time and you can literally hold them during meetings or nurse them or feed them or
Yes.
whatever. And it's so doable ish. But as soon as they start getting mobile, there is no containing them. And she's
None.
about to start walking and then it's going to get even harder. And it's
Yes.
like you're entering a different chapter.
And finding her voice and
Uh huh.
yes, it has been a thing.
That it is. It's definitely challenging. Was there like an age period where she hit a milestone and you're like, "Well, this is harder than it used to be."
I think it was around like 6 months.
Okay.
It was around 6 months
And they're
because
sitting up on their own and
yeah, sitting up, she was trying to crawl. She was in that screaming phase. So it was just a lot happening
mm-hmm.
in that moment. Which I actually was able to find. So she still is home primarily, but I have a friend whose mom offered to keep her for me for 3 days out the week during
Okay.
my work hours. So that's been very helpful. I'm in a situation like this week where she has to go out of town for a few days, so she is home. So finding new ways to keep her entertained and you know the challenge is still
And get creative. And you didn't say anything about screen time, but I'm just thinking about it as you're saying this of like, there's so much pressure for how we entertain them and what we give them for entertainment. And when
Mhm.
you're a mom in a position like this where you're so desperate to find whatever you need to, it's hard
Yes.
to not just sit them in front of a screen all day.
Yes, and then her attention span is, about the size of a fly. What keeps her entertained for the first few minutes may not work 20 minutes, later. So,
Right.
yes, being creative is definitely the name of the game.
Yeah. It's tricky.
Yes.
So, when you started working again, where did you notice the shift or challenges happening most? Was it a physical shift with your relationships with other people, or more just kind of like your identity with yourself?
I think it was the identity piece. And I think for me, the identity piece was I anticipated how motherhood would look for me with our
Okay.
first child, especially, and it didn't like pan out in that way. So having to like retrain my mind and how motherhood
Mm.
actually is instead of what I thought it would be.
Can you tell me more specifically about what you thought it would be?
Yes. Well, initially I thought. I was gonna have, the husband, the American dream, the husband and the white picket fence and dog and all
Mhm.
those things. And that wasn't my reality. It was heading towards that way, but then,
Okay.
life happened and then so I ended up, becoming a single mom. So, initially I'm like, okay, I'm a breastfeed until she's 1. I'm going to not work for the first 6 months of life and just those thought processes I
Mm,
thought was gonna be my reality, but it's not my reality.
yeah.
Um, so I definitely had to shake some things up because I had to match my thoughts with how reality is for me. That was the most challenging. I kinda got the hang of it now because we're 9 months in now and, she's thriving and doing everything. She's not lacking, um, in anything. So I think that also helped me in that identity piece as well because I see even though it didn't pan out the perfect way I thought it would pan out, at the end of the day, she still helped, loved, and taken care of, and that's
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you're describing is so relatable for everybody because regardless of what, our American dream or what the perfect ideal situation is, we all have an idea of what not only motherhood, but our lives are going to look like.
yes,
And life has a way of working out where it's not that. And so there's a lot of grief that goes into that
yes, yes,
and accepting the fact that it's different than what you had wanted or hoped for or imagined it to be. But I think the
yeah,
big piece that you said there that I would want moms to take away is the fact that even if it looks different than what you were expecting, it can still be beautiful and your baby is
yes,
still okay.
yes,
She is loved. Y'all have a great relationship. She's doing well. She's not lacking in anything. Like nothing is negative about it. It's
no,
beautiful in its
it
own way.
is.
It's just not what you expected.
Yes, and it's an ongoing, like, cycle
Mhm.
too, like, it's
Mhm.
not it's not linear, it's not like, "Okay, well, I'm over it today and
No.
the rest of my life it's gonna be that." It's not that because something might trigger something, like, you may see something on TV or you may, you know, she does a milestone, it's like, "Oh, man, I wish, her dad was here to see this," or,
Mhm.
whatever it is, so, it's not just a cut and dry.
Yeah.
I think you have
Now
to be
it's
prepared
going
for
to keep happening over and over and over again with each
yes,
significant
but it gets easier,
thing.
but it doesn't stop. I think that's also important for moms to know as well, like, it doesn't stop, but it gets easier over time.
What do you think made it easier? Like, was there any specific person who gave you advice that like really resonated with you, or did you do some really important like work, or how did you get to that point where it became easier?
Well, I'm an advocate for therapy.
Okay.
Um, my therapist helped a lot, as well as, I have a very supportive, friend group. They were there every step of the way from the day I found out I was pregnant even to now. And ongoing. Having a supportive friend group definitely helped. They didn't allow me to sit in the grief,
Mm,
or just be sad, and they didn't allow me to do that. They allowed me to share how I was feeling in certain moments, but at the end of the day, they encouraged me to okay, yes, you feel this way, but at the end of the day, you know that you both are going to be both are going to be good, and you have us here to support you. Um, so you're gonna pick yourself up, and we're gonna be here to help you pick up the pieces, and you're gonna be okay. That definitely helped. And then also my faith. I'm a Christian, and God really has. I say He's been my best parent.
I love that.
Make sure that not gone without at all. Have such crazy things about just random stuff happening that I never expected, but that definitely has been very helpful in my journey as well.
That's awesome. I love that. He's the best co-parent. And
Yeah.
really, like, he should be co-parenting with all of us, right? Like, we shouldn't be doing this without him. So
And as a single mom, you cannot do it without him, in my personal opinion.
that's awesome. I love that. That's
Yeah.
going to be a good quote to take away from this one for sure. No, good friends that validate but don't let you stay there. And
Mhm.
I think that's so important to have community that can speak truth into your life and encourage you when you need it and be there to be supportive in practical ways when you need it.
Yes,
We all need that, but especially single moms. So I'm glad you have that.
they are the best. They really are.
Is there anything that you wish someone had told you when you were getting ready to go back to work or just motherhood in general?
Oh, man, so many things. Let me choose one. I wish they would have told me that the baby you have today would not be the baby you have tomorrow.
Aw, yeah.
I should have told me that just in every sense of that word because my friend always jokes that these new babies have like upgrades in their sleep. And it's like, you see them as a little baby, but then like tomorrow she might get up and start walking. Who knows? So it's like definitely cherish the present. And I think people always say that, but I think, when they experience it, tell you right, you really in it because as a mom, um, you're always thinking because you have to like you and try to just like make sure and they're bathe, they're safe and not putting their fingers in sockets and all those things.
Exactly.
Mhm. It's hard. It's easy to get distracted and like not enjoy the moment. I think I really have to be intentional about sitting down and just by being there.
And that's an ongoing process
Yes,
that we have to do, like you said, very intentionally. Um, it's crazy how much motherhood speeds time up in life.
yes.
It is so wild. And I'll look at pictures. And my son is almost 3. He'll be 3 in June. And
Mhm.
I was looking at pictures the other day. I was like, you were so small. Like, how did you change so much so
Yes,
fast?
yes. And even though she's 9 months, I look at her old pictures all the time. Like, I know you're still a baby, but you're not
You don't even
this.
look the same. It's like, when
Yes,
did you turn into a little girl?
I know. It's so crazy. So yeah, definitely have to be intentional about being present for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And we do. We get caught up in the day to day and all the little things that need to be taken care of because as moms, we have so much in our brains that need to be addressed. But
Hmm.
the part of just slowing down and connecting with them or being aware of what it is that they're working on and how they're developing, it's all so special and it does go so, so fast. So it's good
Yes.
to try and slow down. Okay, so let's talk about something that I think is pretty, I was going to say unique, but maybe not all that unique to your situation. I think there's probably a lot of moms who make changes in their career, but you decided to also take a pay cut when you went to the virtual position.
Yes.
And given the situation, like you're co-parenting, so I hope there's some support there. But at the end of the day, like you're the one who has to rely on you. Talk a little bit about how you made that decision that trade of less pay for more time and flexibility.
It's difficult. It still is difficult sometimes.
Okay,
I'm like,
that's fair.
if I were still in the district, I know, I know I'm making this amount of money. I know I would be, I would have this type of insurance and this and that. I have all these benefits. I know that. But so with the virtual opportunity, I'm technically an independent contractor.
Okay, a 1099.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we all know what that means. You pay your own taxes.
Uh huh.
You don't you don't get any benefits, those kind of things.
Okay.
So that's been very challenging. But
I
I
bet.
mentioned before I was also unemployed when I was pregnant.
Uh
And so
huh.
a big piece of me just going back was, yes, I do enjoy teaching. I do enjoy the kids. I do need the flexibility. But at the same time, the funds are running low. And right now, it's not just me. I have a child to take care of as well. So I had to do something. So that definitely was the main contributor to me hopping back in so quickly. And thankfully, with the opportunity, I have been able to pick up like 4 or 5 classes. So that has been nice. But at the end of the day, it still does not equate to what I was making when I was working locally in the district. And that's just the cross I've chosen to bear for myself, just because, like you said, I do enjoy the flexibility, and I really just I can't foresee me, especially with being home with her. for almost a year now. I can't foresee me going back into the industry and put myself back in an environment that I tried, well, that I loved for a reason. So that also kind of helps me to, well, help me stay afloat is um, one, I have a very supportive family that makes sure that, that if there's something that I'm lacking, they help pick up the slack in that moment. I do things like, yes, I have insurance. Instead of having an employer base, I book in a marketplace. It's
Okay.
more affordable for me, and my Drew, she's under her dad's insurance, so she's covered in
Okay.
that sense. I just find little, the things here and there to kind of make up for what I'm missing from being a full-time employee outside of the working from home. So it has definitely been challenging,
Yeah.
especially now because again, I've taken a pay cut and took the responsibility of another person. I'm not even flexibility because I'm able to watch her grow. I'm able to have the teacher benefit of summers off. So the school year is kind of so and I have to spend the next few months just going all out and having fun with her, finding free things to do versus, a whole bunch of things that require money. Like this morning, at my morning class, we went to the library for baby story time. It was free. She made new friends. I made new friends. So just finding things around town to do that doesn't require a lot of money, being more mindful of my spending has definitely
Mhm.
been very helpful. Um, because, this week I may have my classes and might pick up 4 classes to sub, for example. Next pay period, they just have only my class I did pick up any sub, so
Hmm.
now I have extra income coming in regards to that. So being mindful of that, kind of helps me stay afloat.
No, I think there's pros and cons to every situation, right?
Yeah,
Would you do it again? Would you make the change to virtual?
I think I would. I think I would actually, because now I know what to expect. Even with the pay cut, even with not having as many benefits. I'm still happier than when I was working,
Good.
at the building. Again, I have flexibility. So, I have a class at 10 o'clock. I may have a 3 hour gap in my day before I have my next class. That flexibility is perfect because then, I can make sure she's taken care of. I can feed her. I can play with her for another 30
Hmm.
minutes. Yeah, get back on the computer, do what I have to do, those kind of things. So I still think the pros of virtual is better than the cons.
Okay. Good. I'm glad you're happy
Yeah.
with that. And to be fair, Shantia, you've only been doing this for what, 7 months?
Yes.
So, it's going to take time for you to figure all of that out anyways.
Yes.
So it makes sense that it's been an adjustment period and now you're getting into the flow of it and you've got a better idea of how to make it all come together. And so it makes sense.
Yes. So, and I am grateful because now again, I know what to expect. So for next school year, I can come in at the top of the school year versus coming in after the school year that already started. So I'm able to, I think, have a better option of classes, class times, choose from. That can make my day even more flexible, might allow me to have a little more income. And first now that she's older and I may have to put her in daycare next school year. I'm not like sure how I'm gonna do that yet, but we will see. Next school year we will different for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that was one of the things that you said has been the hardest part is like mentally adjusting or prepping, I guess, for that change. And I'm guessing you're thinking of that just because of developmentally where she's at, mobility wise, and all of that.
Yes, but mobility wise, and then I have seen her grow even more because she's with my friend's mom, a few times out the week, and she has her grandson there as well. So she's there with another baby. So
Okay.
I have seen the benefits of her being around, people other than just mommy all the time.
Yeah.
That's been helpful. But again, with the single mom and the pay cut thing,
Uh-huh.
daycare is
It's
another big
expensive.
challenge. So
Mhm.
that's something I'll be working on during the summer, just to figure out, the best option for me and her. I don't want to stifle her because I have to work. She can't do what she wants to do or can do just because I'm on the computer screen. I want her to still be able to learn and play and grow without, having the stress of mommy's working.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge, the new challenge.
It will definitely be tricky. I mean, I know there are moms who work from home when they have little ones that are, 1 to 2. I don't know how they do it, but
Yeah, I don't know either.
I know there are some that do it, or have to do it, and so they figure it out. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and there's pros and cons. We have my son in daycare, and most of the time he really enjoys it. And he has his little friends, and he talks about, wanting to show his new shoes to his teacher, and it's really
Mm,
cute. But then he also has days where he like, gets sick all the time because they are developing their immune system, or he gets
yes.
bit by another child, or there's been the rare occasion when he bit another child, and you have to talk about keeping our teeth to ourselves, and
Yes.
there's challenges.
All of those, yes, all of those things. Yeah, it's challenges in every part of motherhood I'm learning. So there's never just a easy moment, easy season. I haven't
Yeah.
experienced that yet. I would say,
I would love to find an easy season of motherhood, but I don't know if
yes.
it's coming.
I don't think so. Maybe after they're adults, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe they
But
just
not
have.
now.
I've been told that the bigger the kids or adults, the bigger the problems. So
Well, good to know. Okay, well, I'll keep that in mind as
just
well.
preparing you mentally. That's what I've been told.
Thank you.
One of the things that I was curious about is you teach students in special education with
Mhm.
learning disabilities, or what kind of special education do you teach? I guess a better question.
So it's learning disabilities. Some may have like autism.
Okay.
Each child is different. I do teach the
Okay.
inclusion method. So they are in classes with general education students.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
fun fact, my first job out of college, I'd
Hmm.
gotten a bachelor's in psychology, so I wasn't getting a big job with that. So, my first job was
Hmm.
what did they call it? Like a teaching assistant or something
Like a
like that,
professional.
maybe. So, I was in the classroom, but my job was specifically to help those students who had things like dyslexia or behavioral
Okay.
challenges, to like keep them on
Hmm.
task. And so I was in the classroom with them, kind of like what it sounds like you're doing. And I really enjoyed it. And it was in middle school. So I worked with seventh graders. And at the time, I could have been their big sister,
Hmm.
but it was really rewarding. But a lot of those students need some extra support, and you put a lot of care into making sure that they're doing well. And so I'm
Yeah.
just curious how that experience has shifted or changed at all since becoming a mom.
I don't think it's changed much because I've always had a big heart, especially for that population of students. And my background is public health.
Oh,
So
okay.
before becoming a teacher, I did public health work. Already having that background, I did a lot of work with special populations in that field as well. So
Okay.
they've always had a special place in my heart. So I've always thought the world, of them. So I think becoming a mom just made that more of my passion. I think is to go harder because working inside of a physical building, I also know that they can get looked down upon a lot
Hmm.
because they learn differently or they may get ignored. They're not in the forefront. They're not, the straight A students. They're not, not doing things that would bring down, I'm saying, positively in the forefront. Um,
Hmm.
so I think becoming a mom has just helped drive me even further to making sure that they get good instruction and they know that they have Dyson on their side no matter what.
Yeah. I think the students that I worked with, some of them struggled to connect with other students. Some
Hmm.
of them struggled with teachers having opinions about them. Um,
Yes.
at the time, I was in training to become a therapist. So, like, I had the empathy and the heart for them. But
Hmm.
now, as a mom, I just imagine if that was my child, and I feel like it puts it to an even greater scale, if that makes sense,
Yes.
of how
Yes. Yes.
much you care and want them to do well.
Yes, and I really hate because I've also noticed that a lot of parents don't know their rights and they don't know, you know, they don't know how the special education field works.
Mhm.
And then, of course, it's a stigma there as well. They shy away from special education because they think, oh, that means my child is this, my child is that. I'm like, no, they just learn differently. So, I becoming a mom had definitely put a place in my heart to want to help other parents too. Just again, know their rights, know that having an IEP or or whatever your child may have, that does not mean anything bad. Exactly how to teach your child, what it needs to be successful in the classroom. I think there's definitely a disconnect between education and parents in regards to that. So I
Mhm.
really think there can be a bridge to bridge that gap. I think
Mhm.
better for learners, for parents, better stakeholders, and just a better education field overall.
Yeah. No, I think we need education for our parents about the education system, right?
Yes,
But I think also for moms who are listening and paying attention and want to be involved, like learn about what the school has to offer for your child,
yes,
advocate for your child because no one else is going to, and don't feel guilty for doing that. I always joke, like, I will be that mom. If there's something going on at
same.
daycare that I feel like I need to speak up about, I'm going to speak up about it. And I'm okay with being labeled that mom when it comes to
Right.
my kid.
Right. 'Cause they need to advocate. If it's not you, who else will it be?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes,
And
they
so I
need
feel like a lot of families probably view the school system as okay, well, this is where I take my child and then they take care of my child for the day and then I get them back in the evening. But really viewing it more as a partnership and understanding what it is that you could put into it so that your child gets the most out of it. There's a lot there, I'm sure.
I can go on and on and on and on and on, but I'm gonna leave it there.
I
But
bet you
just be
could.
your child's advocate. Go to all the meetings, ask all the questions.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't feel bad for taking up space there, you know?
Please don't. Not enough parents do that. So
Well, I'm
please do.
glad you're that kind of educator that feels that way too. 'Cause that
Yes,
makes a
I am.
difference.
Please come ask me questions. If I have your child, please come ask me questions. I want to talk to you.
I love that. All
Yes.
right. So as we wrap it up, just thinking about your whole experience, not only of just motherhood, but also being a working mom, a single mom, is there anything that you want listeners to know or hear or take away from our time together?
Um, I think that moms, especially single moms and working moms, I want you to know that being a single mom or a working mom does not diminish your worth or your identity. It doesn't matter. Now, as long as you are the best you can be for your child, that's all that matters. No matter what label society try to put on you, or you know,
Yeah.
you're worthy of whatever your heart desires.
Yeah. And that can be really hard because there's a lot of pressure and a lot of information, a lot of opinions out there. But
Yes,
at the end of the day, there is such a thing as the good enough mother. And if you care about your baby and y'all are connected and your needs are met, that's good enough.
that is good enough, and they're going to love you for that. They're going to love you for the love and care that you give them. They don't
Yes.
care about any other label. You're mommy to them. That's all that matters.
Yes. I love that. So I found you on Threads. Do you share your experience of being a mom or a working mom or anything like that on social media where folks should follow you?
Yes. On Threads, I talk a lot about my experience of being a single mom, having a co-parenting situation that may or may not go so well depending on the day
Or the hour.
or the hour. Yes, I talk a lot about that on there, and Instagram and TikTok. I am at Hayes_Monche on Instagram and Threads.
Okay.
And on TikTok, I am at Tia_talks. And I also wrote a book about my experience as well.
That's cool.
It's called Hell by Grace. Thank you. It's called Hell by Grace. I wrote it when I was pregnant. It's about, like I told you, how my reality didn't align with what I thought my motherhood
Uh-huh.
journey was going to be like. So yeah, I wrote a book about that as well. That can be found on Amazon. It is called Help by Grace. It's a book and it's a workbook with it as well for single moms who
I
have very similar journey as me.
I love that, and I am so excited to read it, and I one of my desires in life is to eventually write a book, maybe one day, so that is inspirational to me, so thank you for
I
sharing
will
that.
put that link in the email as well so you can share that as well.
Yes, I will definitely share that and include that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Awesome.
you so much.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time to visit. And I know that there was just a lot of good in that conversation that moms are going to take away and really appreciate.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so
I hope
much.
so. I hope so.
They will. They will. So that was Shauntia. I know you loved her just as much as I did. That was probably one of my favorite conversations that I've had with this series. If you want to follow along with her, she is on Instagram and Threads. She's also on TikTok, and I will include all of her handles in the show notes so you can find her. It's underscore Wanshay. And then on TikTok, she is Tia underscore talks. She also wrote that book called Held by Grace, and I'm including the link to her book down in the show notes. So make sure you check that out. It details her experience as a single mom, navigating that motherhood journey that looked absolutely nothing like she imagined. I thought it was really special that she not only wrote that book, but shared it with us as well. She said something near the end of our conversation that I want to leave with you today. She said, being a single mom or a working mom does not diminish your worth or identity. And as long as you are the best you can be for your child, that is all that matters. That is enough. Want to add to that, there is such a thing as the good enough mother. And if you care about your baby and you are connected and their needs are met, that is enough. They are not going to remember the label. They're not going to remember all the details, things that they missed out on or whatever. Nothing like that. They're going to remember that you showed up and that you continue to show up and that you love them. If this episode resonated with you, please take a moment to share it with another mom or another working mom, especially another single mom who is working, who needs to hear it today. And follow along or subscribe wherever you're listening, if it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. That way you make sure that you never miss another episode of the podcast. I will see you next week. Until then, take care of yourself and be well.